And what might those emotional, psychological addictions look like and feel like? What are they?
Well, I'm gonna use an example which I would say people might feel is extreme or radical, but I think some people might be able to really identify with it. So there's somebody who's been experienced or knows a little bit about addiction. Let's use a familiar addiction. Let's say cigarette addiction or alcohol addiction or even something as simple as coffee addiction. People don't realize how insidious addictions are and how much they influence everything they do from day to day. There's very few people that casually smoke. There's very few people that casually have coffee. There's very few people that are alcoholics that casually drink. Now, there are exceptions, but generally speaking, when people are addicted to something, they do it often and they do it a lot. And cooked food, most people would say, it's crazy for me to say that cooked food is an addiction, but I really believe that. And look at the dollar menu in fast food. This food is made to be addictive. It is a profitable business. People stand in line to buy this food. It is not healthy. It's proven to be unhealthy. It's not good for you in any way. It might be cheap today, but you are going to give every penny that you have in your life when you get older to the hospitals and to the doctors when you're sick from eating this food. Same thing happens with smoking. Yet people still do it. It doesn't make any logical sense. That is addiction. Cooked foods are addictive. Even a sweet potato. Yes, even a sweet potato. A hot sweet potato has addictive, I would say, characteristics over a fresh orange or any other natural fruit or vegetable. Most people just won't eat a sweet potato. They'll put butter on it, or they'll put brown sugar in it, or if it's a regular potato, they'll put salt on it, or they'll put seasonings and spices and herbs. And they're chasing stimulation. And that's what people can't give up. Eating, for most people, is not about nutrition. It's about stimulus. And most people, even if they recognize it, as I do, and as I do very well, it's very difficult to give up on it, as it's very difficult to give up on cigarettes or coffee or alcohol. Once you have one cigarette or one drink of alcohol or one cup of coffee, it creates a snowball effect. You want to eat more of it, and you can't stop. And recovering alcoholics have a saying, one is too many, and 1,000 is not enough. And it's the same thing with cooked foods. If you don't decide that you are going to eat a natural, species-specific diet, which I believe is raw fruits and vegetables, and nothing else, no condiments, no salts, no spices, unless you give it everything you have and you say, I'm not going to cheat, I'm not going to go and have things once in a while, you will never eat this diet and stay on this diet, because you can't have, a casual smoker can't just have one cigarette. They have a pack a day, and it usually starts out at 1 or 2, 3, 4, and then they're smoking 2 packs a day, or alcoholics don't, become, binge drinkers overnight when they're in the bar every day. It happens over years. And just look at anybody who's over 50 years old walking down the street. They weren't all fat. They didn't start out that way, but they become that way. They develop that way. You look at anybody who eats a low-fat, raw vegan diet, whether they're 15, 20, or 60 years old, they're going to maintain a low body fat composition. Their waist size is going to be the same. Their emotional state is going to be the same. Everything about them is going to be maintained, because the diet is a natural, species-specific diet. We were made to eat fruits and vegetables, low fat. And I really get it. And that's why, even though I have emotional and psychological desires for cooked food, or for Thanksgiving dinner, or Sunday morning brunch, or whatever holiday, or whatever other season it is, or event, whether you go to the baseball game and you want to get Cracker Jacks, you have to let these things go, because I know intuitively that they're not going to be good for me. And if I have one, it's not going to be enough. And then I'll be back to where I was on a yo-yo diet, binge eating, and not being healthy. So it's a lifestyle beyond anything else, this type of diet.